When you come to Sketchup.com, we have this button displayed very prominently. It's not the only thing that you can use though. If you click on Products and have a look here, it says My Sketchup Beta. Let's go ahead and click. It brings us to a screen which says Introducing My Sketchup, a beta preview of Sketchup in a web browser. Now that's really interesting because that means it's portable. You don't have to have it on your computer. You may even be able to use it on a tablet. But more important from our side of things is that it makes it the same platform whether you're using a Mac or a PC. SketchUp, unfortunately, when you run on a Mac, is more similar to SketchUp 8 than it is to SketchUp 2017. They're a little different. So it would be nice if we all had the same platform. So let's go ahead and click Launch. This screen comes up. We need to wait a while, but this screen comes up next. And what we see is a work environment. We've got a template which is an architectural template with ground and sky. We have a person to give us the scale. On the left here we have a toolbar, and it looks a lot smaller than the large tool set that we use in SketchUp 2017, but when we click on this we'll find that each one of these buttons is in fact will open up a sub-menu or sub-items. So there are different options to do with curves. You click on that and you can get the different options from that. This button here which looks like a rectangle, there's two styles of rectangle, there's a circle and a polygon. So you can go down and you'll find all the tools that sit in the large tool set. I think they're all there. What happened when I clicked one of these is that this popped up. So over here on the right hand side we have a whole lot of icons, and if you hover over them you'll find that they're basically the trays in SketchUp 2017. The only one that's a little different is this one here, which is Views, which is the equivalent of the Views menu that I normally put up on the top toolbar. And Display is something again. So what we can do is we can start working with it. Now, if you've watched my video on configuring SketchUp 2017, you'll know that one of the things I try to do is get rid of this background and the foreground here. And we do that by clicking on Styles. We're going to reduce, click on Materials to shrink it down. So Styles, we're going to go to Default Styles over here. And the one I think is going to work best for us is this one here, which just talks about shaded. When I click that, I get a white background. One of the things I usually do. The other thing I need to do is to make sure my units are correct. Let me delete the man because I don't need him. If I drag a rectangle, you'll see over here in the bottom right corner that I'm working in imperial units, feet and inches. So that's no good. The way to change that is to come over here to the menu, and I'm going to open the model preferences. I don't know if you saw the little tooltip, but here's the catch. You can only do that if you're signed in. Now you can create a SketchUp account if you wish, create a new Trimble ID, give an email address, password and sign in, or otherwise you can sign in with Google, and all our school email addresses are Google based. Now I'm not going to click it because what happens is if you're working on your computer it will recognize you and tell you to just go ahead and sign on in. If not, you will need to actually go through the process. So right now what I'm going to do is pause, at which point I'm going to sign in, and then I'll resume the video after that. So now I'm signed in. What it's done is it's opened up the model info menu, and I've just clicked up on here which is about my SketchUp. This one here is user information, which I'm not going to click. This one is to create a new model from a template. Now this is interesting because the only templates we get are simple template, feet and inches, meters and millimeters. I've not yet found a way of creating a custom template, so we're going to have to do a little bit of work ourselves to still convert the units across. This one here is to open a model from Trimble Connect. You can actually save within Trimble, and you can have files saved on the cloud. You can add a location, which is great for architectural drawings, but not so necessary for woodwork drawings. I haven't looked at this in detail. This one here is the one that's of interest to me. So when we hover over this, it says Model Info. And you'll see that the format, we've got the imperial units here. We want to click on millimeters, and then we want a precision of 0. And that will be fine. It gives us the measurements in whole millimeters. This last icon here is upload to the 3D warehouse. So if you did actually produce something that you thought was worthwhile, you could share it with the rest of the world. So now, if we close off that menu, we have a work environment which works with a white background, and we're sitting using millimeters as the formatting. As I said, everything from here is reasonably straightforward and normal. So we can create a block here, we can push pull, and we can do this. Now, we can give it a name, and what it does is it comes into my SketchUp. It won't let me give it a name here and then save it. I have to actually click into SketchUp to do that. I'm not going to bother right now. I can insert a file, and what that means is that if I have a file saved previously, I can insert something in here. It brings it in as a component, and we'll deal with components separately. I can download this model, and this is very useful. So if I hit download, it will allow me to save this to my hard drive. Very, very useful to keep it back up on your hard drive. I have tested the file that is created here can be loaded up into SketchUp 17 on your computer. Alright, and allows you to save it. It uses this name here, and it uses the same location that you defined when you created the file name here. Everything else, the tools are much the same. The trays here are much the same. The one that is interesting is this one on views. As I said, it largely replaces or takes up the toolbar that I normally have at the top here, so it allows you to select a view as in top, left, right, various angles to look onto your object. So if I was to click on this, it would look from there, and you can see what's happening with the axes. When I click on there, you can see the axes move around, and I'm looking at it in different ways. The other one I can do is I have the button here which says perspective. I can look at it in parallel, or I can look at it in perspective. This is very useful because this is a tool that we do use occasionally in SketchUp 2017. The one tray that does seem to be missing is scenes, and this is going to be a bit of a problem for us in some cases. So we will be able to use SketchUp on the web for mostly simple shapes. We will be able to create components, but if we want to create different views and export the views to produce documentation, we may have to save our file down to a hard drive, use SketchUp 2017 on a PC, and do the work there. The other thing I do not see here is the ability to export a shape for printing, so that too will have to be done on a PC for the time being. Other than that, it's a great learning tool. It's common to all of us, and I think it's a worthwhile addition to the software tools that we have. Have a look, have a play, log in and create your account, and we will be working with it in class quite a bit. Thank you.